Hello, my beautiful Voidian Children. Welcome back to Russian Roulette. Finally. Also, I'm just going to say real quick that my art channel, I could not activate it, so I will be still posting art onto my main channel, along with fan fiction. If you're wondering why I am talking like Bob Ross, it is because it is late, and I don't want to bother people. And if you're also wondering why I'm wearing a hoodie, it's fucking 0 degrees in this goddamn house and it's cold. Because it is winter and using the heat costs a lot of money. Anyway, with that being said, I will be reading this happy little story out in a Bob Ross voice. Even though it's not really happy. This chapter is called Art of War. War. The announcer, EU, climbed on stage. There wasn't actually a stage, but rather the middle of the stadium, where everyone could see him. The stadium was in an oval shape, similar to a gladiator stadium, with people sitting along the oval. The crowd cheered when they saw the announcer come out. It meant that they were about to start soon. Good morning, dearest audience. Today we will have a special... Wait a minute, y'all. I gotta go check something. So I realized I had made a mistake and read the last chapter and this chapter twice. And already posted the last chapter twice. And this is my second time reading this chapter. Therefore, since chapter 14 and 15 were already so freaking grainy in the first place, I decided to delete them and go ahead and reread them. Towards there's no car noises in the background. Good morning, dearest audience. Today we have a special occasion planned, a school tournament. Now I know you're all excited, but let's go over the rundown. EU's voice was heard by the whole stadium. Around the stadium was a happy little holographic screen that allows the audience to view. The audience to view the events in more detail. The wings on both sides of EU's head fluttered. Let me just hang on. Fluttered. Yo, I'm down. Hang on, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I had to let me dog inside. Wait. Let me rephrase that. I had to let my happy little puppy into my gracious little home. I'm gonna paint this happy tree over the paper in his hand. For the first round, we're going to have a one-on-one match. Every team will go on one-on-one with team members from the other teams. The handful of teams with the highest accumulated points will move on to the next round. He paused for a moment to gather his words. The second round called Hunter and Prey, and the final third round will be Capture the Flag. We won't go into too much detail for now. In any case, Headmaster UN will be up there in the VIP section of the stadium, watching over the match. Meanwhile, Azian will be down here, prepared to adjust the terrain and maybe step in. Ewan pointed at the section of the stadium while he spoke, where a singular man watched over from above. Ewan smiled and waved because he knew the screen had cut to him. There was numerous stitches around his body as well as scars. He wore a suit. Well, all three of them wore suits. Ewan also had something about him. Everyone got the vibe from him. Don't pick a fight with him unless you have a death wish. A happy little death wish. Anyway, if you guess we're wondering. I'm filming in the kitchen because, yeah, anyway, because Zeke's asleep in my room. At the same time, he seemed quite composed and reliable, which was a relief. Then the screen cut to Zian. She stood there and snapped her fingers. The terrain of the main stage immediately changed into a large battle arena. The crowd gasped in awe. The process of Zian's powers was indeed fascinating to watch. As Zian noticed the screen had cut to her, so she lifted a hand to hover over her forehead, an attempt to cover her face from being seen. Inside the waiting room, there was also an enormous holographic screen. The group stared at the screen, waiting for EU to call them on stage. Our first round will be between Group 1 and Group 9. Please choose a member, and one important rule is no killing. EU stared up right into the screen with an intimidating gaze. Group 9 was their group. Starting off with us, huh? Everyone cheered Japan for this round. America chimed in with a bright smile. Japan rolled his eyes. Now that's not very happy. Yeah, sure, I'll do it. He stood up and walked towards the door to the main stadium. The Japanese man felt something being thrown at him from behind. He swiftly and gracefully caught it with ease. It was a sword. When Japan whipped his head around, he saw it was a miracle who had thrown it to him with a thumbs up as a good luck sign. He accepted the sword and left. His wooden sandals clicked as he walked, casting a hint of intimidation in the opponent's heart. Japan pulled the sword out of its sheath and discarded it by throwing the sheath off stage. Azian sighed in frustration because it was her who would have to take care of these things. She's like, bruh, don't fucking leave shit. She snapped her fingers to the ground underneath the discarded sword sheath. What is a sheath? Sheath. I think the heater was turned on. Good, it's cold. Sheath jerked up, causing the item to flip in the air. It landed in Zian's hand with great precision. It shook no liberties. Japan bowed in respect towards the opponent as he took his stance. EU rang the starting bell. The second he did, the Japanese samurai leaped forward with glowing eyes. The logic of the story. There's other people other than countries that are background characters. Gay. Anyway, petals accumulated around the soles of his feet, boosting him higher. Petals accumulated around the sole of his feet, boosting him higher. He charged. That voice kinda does a number on you. He charged down with his sword. The enemy tried their best to dodge all of Japan's slashes, but with no avail, for he was just too fast. Now that Japan had a sword, he didn't have to rely on his ability too much. His ability drained a lot of his energy. The opponent realized dodging wasn't going to do anything. So they had out their palms. Light beams shot out of them. Japan reacted a second too late, and his kimono was ripped. Bitch. They shot out another beam, which Japan couldn't dodge. He lifted his sword in front of him to deflect the beam. It deflected onto the stadium walls, which creates a large, gaping crater. Where are you going, Leo? My dog is in here with me, and I swear if he starts chewing on something, he's gonna go in a cage. Japan held out. The beam was strong. He was starting to get pushed backwards little by little. and he was starting to get really close to the edge of the stage. If he exited the stage limits, he would be disqualified. Fortunately for him, the strong beam was too hard to keep up for too long. The person I started reading this out for probably doesn't even have time to actually sit down and watch it. But I'm sure eventually he will, because he does want to hear it. Hi there. Hi. Hi. Say hi back to me in the comments whenever you watch this. The opponent abruptly ran out of energy. Japan took this chance to charge forward with his sword, slashing endlessly with great precision, slowly chipping their defenses away. The opponent sent another beam at Japan. It was much weaker than the previous one, but when the samurai used his sword to deflect it again, the sword snapped in half. Oh shit. Japan clicked his tongue in annoyance. He swerved to the side to avoid the rest of the beam. He activated his ability, petals forming around him with rosy pink glow. His enemy paid a lot of attention to these petals so that they didn't get pierced. They dodged each of the petals. But oh my god, yo. So I was reading a later chapter to my mom that night I hadn't read yet. And oh my god. We'll get there when we get there. But what they didn't expect was that Japan was already in front of them. The samurai used... Oh yeah, guys. If you haven't picked up on it already, with Japan... Wait a minute. We haven't learned enough about Japan for you guys to pick that up. Never mind. Let me shut my mouth. Samurai used an open palm strike to send his opponent flying backwards. They slammed onto the wall and coughed out blood. Before they even had a chance to regain their composure, Japan nailed them into a wall with striped petals. After a few seconds of them trying to struggle, Iyo and Demon aren't able to continue the battle. The winner for this round is Group 9. Congratulations. Please make your way back to the waiting room. Iyo gestured towards the waiting room with a tilt of his head. Japan went up to Azian to reclaim the sword's sheath. He placed the broken half of the sword inside. Before he walked away from Azian, he felt his throat stinged like it was on fire. Japan coughed up a few times in his sleeve. Blood trickled down his chin. There's a few... If this was one of those fan fictions... He's coughing it up because his lover doesn't love him. No, I'm just kidding. Not one of those fan fictions. Do you need to see the nurse? Azian pointed at the nurse who carried Japan's opponent out of the stadium. The Japanese man shook his head. Man, I'm fine, thanks for the concern. If the students didn't want to, then Azian wouldn't continue to bother them. Japan made his way to the waiting room where his team was waiting for him. They were watching from the holographic screen. Good job, Noah said to him with a nod. The samurai thanked him, and he dropped the broken sword next to it. American sat back down with his hands crossed, eyes closed in concentration. Y'all, it's a little hard to breathe right now. I don't know why. Oh my god. Oh my god, 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 oh my god. That's a no. That's a no. That's a no. There's a ghost. Stop, please. You're scaring the shit out of me. Go away. Oh my god, guys. You know how my place is haunted? Leo was barking at the corner and there's nothing there. I don't want to move. Shut up. Y'all, I swear to God. I swear to God, there's nothing over there. He's barking at nothing. I don't want to move. Y'all join me in a little prayer. I don't care if you believe in God or not. I'm scared shitless. God, please don't let this damn ghost mess with me while I'm trying to do this. I just want to read. What the fuck? What the fuck? Y'all, I'm scared. Oh my god, there's knocking. Stop. Y'all, I can't. I can't. I can't. Please. Please, I beg of you, leave me alone. I just want to read this out. Let me finish this. Looks like we're gonna need to get you a new sword for the next round. America threw the broken sword aside. The next few minutes of break. What? I can't, guys. I can't do this. I was already getting hard enough to breathe. My heart. They had a few minutes of break, watching a few fights before it was time for them to go back on stage. Group 9 and Group 5, please come on stage. EU's voice rang in their ears. Sal suddenly stood up. I'll do it. The faster we get it done, the better. After South left the main stadium, America skipped over to Russia's side. Watch him and analyze his weakness, America said with a smirk. The Russian was already thinking about doing that, but now that America told him to, he suddenly didn't want to do it anymore. Felt. I'm trying to be all cheery and shit, because we're not even halfway done with this. I might have to make this a two-parter because of this stupid ghost. On the screen, they saw South tying the blindfold behind his eyes. Then once we get to the halfway mark, I'll end the video. Something just banged, y'all. On the screen, they saw South tying the blindfold around his eyes. Then the starting bell rang. The South Korean man immediately activated his ability, thrusting the pole out. An energy wave came shooting right towards the enemy, narrowly missing them. South's energy fought in close combat with him. His enemy didn't expect much from South considering he was blindfolded, but his movements were actually very accurate. My chest doesn't feel okay right now, y'all. He dodged each blow without much trouble. South Korea let out a burst of vibrations around his body. This caused the enemy to leap forward to avoid it. South preferred range combat compared to close combat. They continued back and forth, sending waves of attacks to each other. The sound around South was starting to get distance. Both of them were almost drained by now. South whipped off his blindfold, sweat slid down his face. He sent another wave of energy. This wave was strong. The audience could see the ground vibrating. The enemy could... I can't breathe, guys. The enemy couldn't dodge in time and was sent flying backwards. EU rang the bell to signal the end of the match. Congratulations to Group 9 again for winning. Make your way back to the waiting room, please. South stared at the enemy and didn't move. He saw the enemy get up and make their way back to the waiting room, but South leaped on them, sending a few punches their way. Hey, calm down. The match is over. The enemy dodged. I'm trying to make it more upbeat, but the enemy dodged each one of them with great difficulty. They were both drained. A dirt wall shot out from the ground, separating South and his enemy. It was Azian. South stared at Azian in confusion. He seemed genuinely not to understand why Azian had stopped him. The match is over, she said articulately, so that South heard every word, but to South no noise came out. EU came up to South and activated his ability. Letters in the form of constellations appeared above him. It read out, "The match is over. Go back. You won." South blinked a few times. Sorry, he apologized to the three of them. Went back to the waiting room with flushed face of embarrassment. The group was waiting to congratulate him. "Good job," Japan said, peeling his eyes away from the screen. South didn't respond. "It's useless. Don't bother talking to him." America shrugged and sat back down. The prince gave South a thumbs up instead, which made South smile a little in triumph. Russia also came to the exact conclusion as America. "He can't hear anything if he uses his ability much. That's his weakness." Russia spoke first. It was to spite America because they knew the prince was about to tell him. "How smart of you. You want a reward with that?" The prince grinned, teasingly like a shy fox. I love how freaking cocky he is, y'all. I can't. Anyways, I suppose I'm just in the episode here since I'm freaking spooked and shit. And the video's going on for a while because of that. Curse the ghost. I shouldn't say that. But anyways, I love you, my beautiful Voidian children, and there will be a part 2 of this since, yeah.